Canadians drop their politeness in the wake of Trump's tariffs. The new tariffs have sown anger and confusion among America's neighbors to the north, who say they feel betrayed by a longtime friend. President Donald Trump's tariffs on Canadian goods, coming on the heels of his taunting threats to make the country the 51st U.S. state, are eroding the inherent politeness of Americans' northern neighbors and rallying them around their own flag. Canadians are removing American liquor and California wines from their store shelves. They're pulling back on future visits to the U.S. They're pushing Buy Canadian to counter higher costs and spite Trump. And they are uncharacteristically brandishing unvarnished anger over what they see as a betrayal of a longtime friend.
What does drop their politeness mean in this context? Drop their politeness means that Canadians, who are usually very polite and reserved, are now openly expressing their anger. They are not holding back their frustration like they normally would. Instead of being diplomatic or soft-spoken, they are speaking out strongly and taking action against Trump's tariffs. It's like saying, "We've had enough, and we're not going to stay quiet about it anymore." What does "in the wake of" mean? In the wake of means as a result of or following something that just happened. In this case, it means that Canadians are reacting to Trump's tariffs. The tariffs were introduced first, and now, because of them, Canadians are getting upset and changing their behavior. It's when a big event happens, and you see the effects of it right after. What does have sown anger, sow anger, mean in this context? Sow anger means to cause or create anger, like planting seeds that grow into something big. In this case, Trump's tariffs have planted feelings of anger and frustration among Canadians, and now those feelings are growing stronger. It's saying his actions have led to widespread resentment. Imagine throwing seeds into a field. Eventually, something will grow. And here, what's growing is frustration and anger. What does feel betrayed mean in this context? Feel betrayed means feeling like someone you trusted has turned against you or let you down. In this case, Canadians have always considered the U.S. a close friend, but Trump's tariffs make them feel like America has suddenly gone against them. It's like when a good friend does something hurtful behind your back. You feel disappointed, hurt, and maybe even angry because you didn't expect it from them. What does "on the heels of" mean? On the heels of means something happens right after something else, almost immediately. It's like when you're walking and someone is following so closely that they're almost stepping on your heels. In this case, Trump's tariffs came right after his comment about making Canada the 51st U.S. state. So, first, he made a provocative remark, and then, very soon after, he announced the tariffs. The phrase suggests that the second event is directly connected to the first one. What does taunting threats mean in this context? Taunting threats means threats that are not just serious, but also meant to mock or provoke someone. Taunting is like teasing someone in a mean way, and threats are warnings that something bad might happen. In this case, Trump wasn't just making a regular political statement. He was making fun of Canada by suggesting it could become the 51st U.S. state. It wasn't just a threat. It was also a way of humiliating or belittling them. What does eroding the inherent politeness mean in this context? Eroding the inherent politeness means slowly breaking down or wearing away the natural politeness that Canadians are known for. Eroding is like how water gradually wears down a rock over time. Inherent politeness refers to the deep-rooted natural politeness of Canadians. So in this case, Trump's actions are making Canadians less polite than usual. They're getting frustrated, angry, and openly expressing their feelings instead of staying calm and diplomatic like they normally would. What does rallying them around their own flag mean in this context? Rallying them around their own flag means bringing people together and making them feel more patriotic or united as a country. Rallying means gathering people to support a cause, and around their own flag means focusing on their national identity. In this case, Trump's tariffs are making Canadians feel more strongly about supporting their own country. Instead of relying on the U.S., they are standing together, promoting Canadian products, and showing national pride. What does pulling back on future visits mean in this context? Pulling back on future visits means that Canadians are deciding to visit the U.S. less often or even cancel trips they were planning. Pulling back means reducing or holding back on something, and future visits refers to trips that people were thinking about taking. So, because of Trump's tariffs, some Canadians feel upset and are choosing not to travel to the U.S. as much as they used to, kind of as a way to protest. What does "to counter higher costs and spite Trump" mean in this context? To counter higher costs and spite Trump means Canadians are reacting in two ways. First, they are trying to deal with rising prices caused by tariffs, and second, they want to show their anger toward Trump. To counter means to take action against something. Higher costs refers to the increased prices due to tariffs. And spite Trump means to do something as a way of getting back at him. So, by promoting Buy Canadian, they're both avoiding expensive U.S. goods and making a statement against Trump's policies. What does uncharacteristically brandishing unvarnished anger mean in this context? Uncharacteristically brandishing unvarnished anger means that Canadians, who are usually polite and reserved, are now openly showing raw, unfiltered anger, something that's not typical for them. Uncharacteristically means behaving in a way that is different from usual. Brandishing means showing something in a strong and obvious way, and unvarnished anger means pure, unhidden anger without trying to soften it. So, Canadians, who don't normally express anger so directly, are now openly upset because they feel betrayed. Canadians dropped their politeness in the wake of Trump's tariffs. The new tariffs have sown anger and confusion among America's neighbors to the north, who say they feel betrayed by a longtime friend. President Donald Trump's tariffs on Canadian goods, coming on the heels of his taunting threats to make the country the 51st U.S. state, are eroding the inherent politeness of Americans' northern neighbors and rallying them around their own flag. Canadians are removing American liquor and California wines from their store shelves. They're pulling back on future visits to the U.S. They're pushing Buy Canadian to counter higher costs and spite Trump. And they are uncharacteristically brandishing unvarnished anger over what they see as a betrayal of a longtime friend.